TaxAct is a great choice for business owners to complete some very important tax forms online. In fact, it's like the only tax software that is available in doing this. And it's also slightly cheaper than the top 3 biggest tax software available to you. But it's not the cheapest in general. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the TaxAct tax software for 2024 for you to file your tax return. Stick around. Hey guys, it's Justine with the College Investor, Investing and Personal Finance for Millennials. Today we are getting into a complete review of the TaxAct tax software for you to file your 2023 tax return. So the big question that we always like to address up front is whether or not this tax software is truly free. Now, no. The short answer is no. Let me show you exactly what those pricing plans and options are for TaxAct. You're going to see several different options for TaxAct pricing as it relates to your personal tax filing situation. One thing that I did notice right off the bat is that you can get 5% off your TaxAct pricing by using Rakuten and the Rakuten extension. So that is a good deal for Rakuten users. Also, we did see that TaxAct generally adjusts their prices throughout the tax season. So you'll always want to make sure that you want to lock in the lowest price, which generally means the sooner that you buy in, the cheaper price that you'll pay. So for the free option, you'll see that you'll also have to pay $39.99 for a state return. So let's see, if you qualify there for a basic federal tax return, then the situations that are covered include a W-2, unemployment or retirement income, the child tax credit, earned income tax credit, stimulus credit, which most of us are already past that, dependents, and current students. We typically see these types of eligibility requirements across the board for a lot of tax software. You're also going to see situations that are not covered, which a lot of us tend to have, including things like investment income, real estate taxes or mortgage interest, business and farm income, itemized deductions, student loan interest, and HSAs. If you are in any of those camps and also freelancing and contracting, then you would not qualify for the free edition of TaxAct. In fact, most people are probably going to be paying anywhere between $50 to $100 for the TaxAct software in addition to their state return. So if you are a homeowner, you have somebody with student loans, you could do the deluxe version, but honestly, I feel like a lot of people are going to probably be bumped up into the premier, especially for those who have investment income that they need to report, which is $34.99 plus that state additional of $44.99 per state return. And yes, you can file multiple state returns with TaxAct. Now, the only truly free option for TaxAct is through the IRS Free File program, and that's for people who have very simple tax filing situations and also earn less than $65,000 per year. So what's new in 2024 for TaxAct? First off, they have updated the tax software to adjust for the latest tax codes, including new tax provisions such as the updated 1099-K forms. They've also adjusted things for credits, deductions, inflation as it relates to tax. And something new, which is not new to TaxAct, but a new change, is their Expert Assist, where you actually have a live human helping you and review your tax return. That used to be complimentary in previous years. They're now going to be charging $39.95 for the Expert Assist, so you'll want to be aware of that. Okay, not technically new, but something really good to know is TaxAct is the only tax software available for business owners, especially those who have the S Corp selection, to be able to file their taxes without downloading some Windows-only based application. If you're a Mac user, then this has been a headache with other tax software in the past. With TaxAct, you don't need to worry about that. So if you're an S Corp business owner, this is a really great feature of TaxAct. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the dashboard and let me show you exactly what TaxAct looks like on the inside. I actually found TaxAct to be relatively easy to go through, so I already input some fake information for the purposes of this review so that you can see. So all I had to do was go into the basic info. You're gonna see this left-hand navigation menu on the side to show you exactly where you're at in the tax return process. So I just filled in some basic information and then you could go through the prompts. What I really like about TaxAct and one of the features is they have a really nice question and answer guidance. So you can see as you're going through, they prompt you with a question, you answer yes or no, you input the information, and then you can move on to the next thing. This is really helpful so that you know that you're not missing any important sections, that you're going through detail by detail with the guidance of their software. So user experience overall, I found to be quite pleasant actually. Then you're gonna see this expert assistant button here. They're always gonna try to upsell you, of course, for the $40 extra live assistance from a real human. So I'm going to just exit out of that and show you the rest of the details of the basic info, which looks good. Okay, then we get into the federal return. What I like about this is it's a menu option, or you can do step-by-step guidance, which I really like. The first time that you go through it is going to be more of this Q&A guidance, and then as you go back and review what you've input, then you can see the menu of options if you want to go back and let's say a form came in the mail late, not with the rest of your documents, you can always go back and take a look. So in this example, I had a W-2, I had self-employed income from ride-sharing income, and then you can always include other little things that might apply to you, such as these specific forms. And you scroll to the bottom and click continue. Tell us about any additional income that you had in 2023. So again, this is going through the step-by-step Q&A, which I personally like. If you are not used to filing your taxes online, then this is a feature that I think a lot of people would really appreciate. If you've been like, no, I've done this year after year after year, I know exactly what to look for, then you can go back and do kind of that menu of options and just toggle through which forms that you need to fill out. And I'll show you something real quickly with the W-2s. So I just went ahead and manually entered in my W-2 information. Again, this is all like fake information for you, but you can just include it really quickly. And this actually takes the W-2 and breaks it down into manageable chunks. So we're starting with the employer tax identification number, and then we go into the box C, and then we go into boxes 1 through 8, boxes 10 through 11, 12, so on and so forth. So I just went ahead and put that inside of the tax software to show you really quickly what that would look like if you were to manually enter a W-2. Now, if you wanted to add a second one, you would just hit that second W-2. So add that in, and then you would add Trailer Inc. And then you would just add all of those different fields inside of your W-2 tax software form. Another handy feature of TaxAct is you can do a CSV import of your investment income. So while that is nice, I'm sure you're like, I don't even have a CSV file. You can also just go through, and if you have like a 1099 div interest form, you can add that into your income section of your return. So let's continue. And then I can show you what I did for deductions. So anytime that if you had to report like self-employment income, or if you were doing side hustles, side gigs, then this is where you could report part of that. And up at the top, you're gonna see federal owed and state owed, or refund, depending on your tax situation. And I like that this keeps track and updates that as you go through the software. Then you can go through the menu of options and see if there are any additional deduction topics that you might want to take a look at, such as student loan interest deduction. This is something that I said I wasn't a student, so I did not include it. But once it's available, since I'm doing this recording prior to January, once it's available and you have that particular form, you can go back in and update and kind of toggle back and forth through the sections to see where you can fill in the missing pieces. If you're anything like me, you like to get a head start on your tax returns and a head start on just planning for refund purposes, this is a great software that helps you do that. Okay, then you can take a look at credits and what what happens to your tax situation as a result. So any credit topics, you can kind of go through the menu items again, where you can see things like the child tax credit, residential energy credits, child and dependent care expenses, education credits. It's all listed here, and I find the menu is not anything to write home about. This is pretty standard user experience, I suppose. It's not like, ooh, this is amazing, but it is easy to read. It is easy to look at and figure out exactly what to work on next. I'm going to hit continue, and then it's going to bring us into the next section, which is the taxes section. Now, it's going to show you exactly how much you've paid in different types of taxes, but also any additional tax topics. Most of the time, these aren't relevant to most households, but perhaps it's you. So you can always take a look at these additional tax topics and include that as part of your tax return. Then you kind of go through, again, the Q&A guidance. You need to make an estimated tax payment, and then you can go through each of those steps. Also, there is a spot for you to report any kind of exchange, selling, or receiving of any cryptocurrency that you might have, NFTs, cryptocurrencies, stable coins. You can also report that right here within this tax software, and then go through some of their prompts. Again, I found this really easy to use. It's no frills. I mean, I will say there are other tax software out there like H&R Block and of course TurboTax, which is the primo. So it does not have the premium feel inside of TaxAct like you would get with H&R Block or TurboTax, but you're also paying less money. There's pros and cons, of course, to all of the tax software, but what I do like about it is that I do have a nice little federal summary of how much I might owe or what you might be getting back in a return, and then also just telling us very quickly what your taxable income is, what kind of credits and deductions that you might have had, and it gives you a nice handy little chart for you to reference at the end as a summary. Then it's going to pull everything that you put over in your federal return, copy it over to your state return, so that then you can do your state-specific tax return. Also, now you have to pay the $39.95 for the Expert Assist, when in previous years that was complimentary. So is TaxAct worth it? Despite its improvements for 2024, the cost doesn't really justify what you get on the inside. If you're looking for something budget-friendly, then you might look at something like a TaxSlayer or a TaxHawk, or if you're going to go ahead and pay a premium price for filing your taxes online, why not go with somebody like a TurboTax or an H&R Block to actually see you through? That is going to get you that premium feel and experience, is what, if that's what you're really looking for. Don't forget, we have complete tax walkthroughs and reviews of all the latest and greatest tax software available to you at thecollegeinvestor.com. We will leave a link below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and we'll catch you in the next one.